Share. I want this one. Yeah, it's back. Okay. So we just did the check-in. Can you see my screen? It's somehow telling me it's not sharing.
I can see
Okay.
it.
You can see it?
Yes.
Okay, for some reason it's telling me it's not seeing. So what we want to do is to learn today how to see, and since most of you feel creative, we want you to draw and we want you to make. And these are basically the ways designers think. We think by looking, we think by drawing, we think by making. So it's called visual thinking overall. So visual thinking is a way of thinking that's not your everyday mathematical or a linguistic thinking. It's a way of thinking that is very special and designers are very strong at. What we'll need today, you already got a feel for it. You need to have access to the video. You need a space to draw because we're going to do some drawing exercises, and we want access to Menti. It could be on your phone, could be anywhere. I leave it up to you. And then what you will see today is the slides view, which you're looking at now. You will have a drawings view, which has the bird saying welcome on it, and a view of Menti, which I will switch between them when necessary, so you don't have, so you can see the results live. Okay, so I want to tell you, these are the things we're going to do today. So it's a lot of things. Paper is special. We're going to look at the golden ratio, at the Fibonacci series, combinations, colors, words, squiggle birds, because of Asfour, of course, stick figures, a face, we're going to draw a face, and we're going to walk through a paper. And on the right, you see the things we're going to do. We're going to look and observe, we're going to draw, and we're going to make. So let's go to the first one, paper is special. So in the beginning, I'll be talking a lot, but then we'll be doing lots of exercises from colors all the way to the end. It'll be just doing little things together. But in the beginning, just allow me to speak a bit. And to say that paper was first developed by the Egyptians using papyrus, which is a plant. It's a green plant. It's a type of a grass, a big grass, imagine. And they slice it. You can see on the left, this is from DK books. They slice it, and then they layer it. They beat it down. And this is what it looks like in reality. You can see the papyrus on the left, and you can see a papyrus being made. And most of you have seen what it ends up looking. This is an ancient way. This is from about 5,000 years ago. It's crazy how long ago they did it. And the Chinese used bamboo. This is about 2,000 years ago, where they would chop down the bamboo, layer it out, and then soak it in water so it becomes a pulp. And then they place the pulp onto the screen and they dry it. So you can see here the pulp, and then they press it and dry it. So this is how the Chinese make it. And this is a Chinese paper from about 2,000 years ago. So today, the paper making process is much more industrialized, of course, and we chop down trees for that. Then we go to the factory where it's completely done. Then it's used into different kinds of ways of making paper. It comes back to us in homes and schools. That's why we recycle it, because it goes into a recycling plant, and then we avoid cutting down trees anymore. We don't have to cut trees when we recycle paper. So it's very important to save our environment, not to minimize the cutting down of trees. And just to give you an idea, this is what a paper factory looks like today. And they make them into rolls, and then they cut them down. So here's a sheet of paper, which we're used to. This is an A4 sheet of paper. And I just want you to make sure that you don't take a simple sheet of paper for granted. It's an advanced invention. It's a very complex process to make paper and has a huge impact on the environment. So I want us to be aware of simple things in design. And there are so many other great design objects like paper, which we take for granted, we forget. how great they are, like the paper clip, the pencil. I mean, that's a huge invention. There's a whole book just about the pencil as a design object. The big pencil, which a pen, which we take for granted, this is quite advanced and minimal. It's just made of 5 parts, but it's just incredible. And we take it for granted. A Post-it note, which is designed by 3M, which is in Minnesota. And of course, the Lego piece, we forget how complex it is and how simple it is. And there are many, many others. So sugar cube, the coffee cover, LED lights. Uh, um, sorry to show this in Ramadan, but it is quite an invention. The soccer ball, which we take for granted in any sports ball, and the Band-Aid. So these are all amazing. And there's a beautiful book called Humble Masterpieces. We have it in our library if you want to ever look at it. And this is by Paola Antonelli, who's the curator at the Museum of Modern Art. And there, she's just looking at those simple things that we take for granted, but they are quite great. So I want you to start appreciating everything around us and realizing that in the simplest thing like the bubble wrap or the Swiss Army knife, there's a lot of design going on, a lot of thinking going on. So I want you to think of a humble, great object, to use Antonelli's word. And I want us to go back to Menti and to see what you might think of as a humble object. So can you think of a humble and great design? Oh, that's great. Landscape, street art, mandala, cheese, characters, video game models. Yeah, that's great. You guys are doing great. Yeah. Street art. Yeah. Yeah. Books. Oh, yeah. Books. I mean, we take that for granted. Nail clipper. Great. Tin opener. Hairbrush. Yes, you guys are good. Your tape. Yeah. Stapler. Yeah, that's a huge invention. The ruler. Oh, yeah. I have a ruler shaped like a giraffe, by the way. So, but I don't have it. Sheet of paper, just try holding it between your two hands. What you're going to do is you're going to feel it's quite opaque. There's no way you can walk through it, let alone that it's A4, which is tiny. So the A4 is a tiny sheet of paper. And I don't know if you know that the A4 follows a complex system, a proportioning system, and its actually ancestor or producer is the A0 sheet. What's fascinating about the A0 sheet is that it's actually huge. It's part of a series. If you split it in half in proportion, you get the A1 and then half again, A2, A3. If you fold it, it's A4, A4 becomes A5, A6, etc. You can go all the way down. And A0 is the largest standard size. Now, if you want larger paper, then you have to go outside the standard. What's beautiful about this is that it is 841 millimeters on the side by 1,189. These numbers look strange, you might ask. But actually, if you multiply them together to get the area of the A0, which is the width times the height, and you do the math, you realize it's 1 meter squared. Look how beautiful and pure this is. So the A0 sheet is 1 meter squared. And if you half it to the A1, it's going to be half a meter squared. And so they're all multiples of the meter. And that's why this is the system in Europe, because they follow, and here in Dubai, we follow the metric system. This is so beautiful. This is like genius design, if you want to think about it. And how do you cut them? So you take the A0, which is 1 meter squared, and you split it in half, that's A1. You split that in half, A2, and look at the pattern it's making. So from a single sheet of A0, you can create all these things. I don't know if you get excited about this, but for me, I look at this and I say, this is extremely genius because it also maintains the same proportion. meaning that the relationship of the sides remains the same. So even you cut it in half, but it keeps the same proportion, and it's not a square. So that's another magical quality to um, the paper. So proportion is very important. I want us to look at these three different paisleys. This is a design we call paisley because Scotland, a town called Paisley, got them from the east, whether from India or Afghanistan or this region, nobody knows where it originated, and they started producing them. So in English, it got the name paisley. In Arabic, it's cashew and has different names, different countries. But since we're speaking English, we talk about the paisley. So I want you to look at these three and tell me which one feels comfortable to you to look at, which of the three. And you can tell me actually on here. So which paisley feels right to you on menti.com? So let's see. Yeah, 9 people have agreed that this is the one that feels right. Awesome, right? So the overwhelming majority feels the pink one, the pink bar is the one that's right. That's great. And I would say keep going. Still seems the overwhelming majority. No one seems to have picked the first one. A few people have picked, maybe 2 people picked the third one. So the overwhelming majority is comfortable with the middle one. And that's what I was expecting, actually. If you look at it, it has the same proportion as the piece of paper in front of you. This proportion, somehow, we like it as humans. We have a tendency for the majority to like it. So there's not only is it magical the way it works, when you cut it in half, it maintains its proportions, but actually it is a proportion that we like. And it's a proportion that's around 0.7, which is 5 units by 7 units, roughly. And there's another magical proportion, which is called the golden ratio, which is this one, which is 0.6, which is 3 to 5. And this one we find more in nature than the one on the left, but they are both favored by humans. And we don't know why we like them, but we do. So let's look at the golden ratio, and we're going to do an exercise at the end of it, drawing. So hang in there with me. So, oh, now we can do it. So the first thing I want you to do on your sheet of paper is to draw a square. Draw it somewhere in the middle, more to the left, and just keep going. I'm going to assume you're drawing. In this case, I won't draw along with you. I'll just show you the slides because I built the slides so we can do them. Call the side of the square B. I'll wait for all of you to get your pencils out or pens or whatever to draw a square side B. What we're going to do is create that magical rectangle, right? And the second thing you're going to do is find the midpoint of the square and drop a line to find the midpoint of side B, the bottom side of the square. Okay, I'm assuming you are doing this. You can upload your pictures to Zoom, to your drawings. So take a picture so we see them, write your name on them so you know who we are. Then we're going to draw a line. This is very important, from the midpoint of B to the upper right corner. This is going to help us make the next step. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Sorry, how big is the square supposed to be like?
Up to you. Make it, I don't know, maybe 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters, 5 if you want. You're welcome. So I'll wait for you to reach this point. It's pretty straightforward. Draw a square, find the midpoint of the lower point of the lower side, and then draw a line that connects the midpoint to the upper right corner. All right, let's move on. You can catch up. And then this line becomes a radius for a circle. So you can freehand this if you don't have a compass. That's okay, you can freehand it. Bring it down and then extend another rectangle to where that line meets, and call that bottom side A. Okay, so you drop a radius, you draw an arc from that radius, and you complete you extend the square with the rectangle to the end of the arc, and you call it A. And what you end up with is basically the golden ratio. This is a golden ratio. And it's basically the relationship between side A over B is exactly the same as the relationship between all of A plus B and B. So what's interesting is that this is a scalable proportion. I'll show you examples now, but I want you to look at your fingers, and I want you to look at your arm, and notice that your forearm from your elbow to your wrist, call it B, and from your elbow to your shoulder, that's A. And what's fascinating is that these are the proportions of the human body. They follow this magical formula. And look, I mean, you can do all the math for it, but since we're designers, we prefer to do it visually. So you don't have to learn, you know, like square root of 5 over 2 to 1 over 2 equals 5 over square root over 5 over 2. We're designers. This is boring for us. So what we do, we look at visual thinking and we understand it that way. So what does the golden ratio mean? Let's look at certain things that we find. It's a system that we can create a spiral, and we're going to draw a spiral today using squares. If you look at ancient Greek and Roman architecture, they understood it very well. Even look at the architrave, it's the same size as you see the proportion here, where you see the columns and the top part, which is the pediment and the architrave, they follow the same proportions as the rest of it. It's just fascinating. And the Greeks knew about this, of course. If you look at the Nautilus, it more or less follows, right? And the sizes of the arcs, they are growing in the growth pattern following the same ratio. Look at the human face. The eye, the way it curves, and our face follows the same proportion. That's why you find it in Leonardo da Vinci's famous painting. You see her face follows the rectangle, the skin showing follows the same proportion, even up to the arms, where the arms fold, they follow the same proportion. And you can see her chin in relation to her torso is following the same proportion. There are so many studies on this, it's mind-boggling. Your ear follows this proportion, so it's found in nature, this one. Chair design by Le Corbusier and Charlotte Perriand. This is 1929 design, and it's very much following the same proportions as well. This is a joke. I found this as I was researching, but even the curvature of Donald Trump's hair follows the spiral. But this is what's interesting, is that the industry knows that this is an attractive shape for humans. We tend to like it. So what do? They sell you products following that proportion. And a well-known one is the size of cigarette box. Have you ever thought about the cigarette box? Where does it get its proportions? Well, it's getting it from the proportions of the golden ratio. Your credit card follows the golden ratio. So does your ID card and your business cards. So this is a proportion that we see everywhere. You can design furniture. So when in doubt, I tell my students, start with a golden ratio and see where that takes you. So here's the golden ratio. If it reminds you of how the paper was done, it follows the same language. Now, the golden ratio was discovered by the Greeks, as I showed you. And about 2,000 years later, an Italian called Fibonacci discovered a series of numbers which follow a proportion of 1 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 5 to 8 to 13. And if you illustrate it, you see how I'm using squares. and the squares are growing in size. So after 13, let's find out what happens. So let's look at the Fibonacci series. This is our third topic. And so the Fibonacci series were designed or developed by a mathematician called Leonardo Bonacci. He happens to come from Fibonacci. That's why they called him Fibonacci. And he's the one that introduced the Arabic numerals into the West. Those numbers that you see are Arabic. And basically, it was Fibonacci who had learned the Arabic math from the Arabs and brought it into Europe. And he developed the Fibonacci series because what he was trying to measure, he was trying to measure rabbits, how fast rabbits are producing. So two make two bunnies, and then the two bunnies make three bunnies make 5 and 8 and 13. That's how a colony grows. Now, he didn't illustrate it the way we have, but this is how he did it. He said, first 1 to 1, then 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 5. Do you see a pattern here? 5 to 8 and 8 to 13. Can you guess what the pattern is? So let's go to the Menti and see if you figured out the pattern. So this is going to be a quiz. So once you are all ready, let's reach at least 40, 44, and I'll start the quiz. So there is a timer. You have to answer real quick. Good, good. Almost at 40. You just need one more to start. Come on, you guys. Just one more. One more. Yes. So we're starting the quiz, and let's see if you can figure out what the pattern is. So 5, 8, 13, what is it? Did you figure out the pattern yet? All right, we have 15 seconds left. Let's see what we got. Time's up. All right, so 39 of you got 21, and 3 of you got 28, and 4 got 23. So those, everyone, I want you to understand this. So the next question is basically, what I'm going to tell you is that if you look at the 5 and the 8, if you add them up, what you get? 13. So let's see if you got my hint. And here's your second. Oh, here we are. Let's see. Alia, Brent, Aisha, M, Aisha, Anwar, Moody, Anfal, Maribel, Fahad. You came in first place because you went fastest. Alia was the fastest, so well done. Let's go to the next slide. Let's figure out how did you, okay, let's see. You figured it out by doing what? How did you figure out the pattern? So let's see. All right. So, okay, adding the last two numbers, lucky guess, that was 3 of you multiplying 7 by 3. So the trick is to add the last 2 digits to get the next proportion. It's a magical formula. And then let's see here. Now, so 21 is right. So after 21, what are we going to get? So now you know how it is. You add the last 2 numbers. So let's see the, oh wait, let's see the leaderboard. I forget about that. Alia's still up there. Let's see with total, still the fastest, Alia, well done. Anwar, Anfal, M, Fahad, Rashid, Aisha, Maribel, Saleh, and Jamila. Well done, all of you who got the right answer. Well done, all of you, for trying. So now we know we have to add the numbers. So let's figure out the last one. of them. So what happens after 21? So after 21, now you got the system. Let's see if we should get 100% now. All right, you guys. Good. I have 47 people participating. This is awesome. Giving you a minute. So now 15 seconds left of the minute. 48 have entered. I want 100%, you guys. I want 100% here. We know the system. We know how Fibonacci did it. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Let's see what we got. All right. Oh, we didn't get the 100%. Oh, you guys. Okay, so it's just a matter of addition. So 34 is the right answer because we added the 13 with a 21. So that's 34. And that's the next number in the Fibonacci. And that's mathematical thinking. I want us, let's see the leaderboard. Let's see if Alia is still up there. Come on, Alia. Let's see. I think so. I think Alia maintained her lead. Anwar is close. And M was fastest. Well done. Rashid, Aisha, Saleh, Jamila, Maribel, Ted, and Sulaiman. Oh, Ted has a teddy bear as an icon. That's fun. Okay. Well done, you guys. So let's go back to here, 34. That's the right answer. And if you look at the proportion, it's 0.6, roughly 0.6. So from 3.5 onwards, it settles around 0.6. So if you want to remember the Fibonacci series or the golden ratio, I would say look at 3 to 5 when you want to draw. So draw is a rectangle that's 3 on one side, 5 on one side, and you're in a safe zone that it's going to be a good proportion. So here you go. So 1, 1, 2. This is how we do it visually. So these are just squares that we're adding. So this is square of side 1. This is a square of side 2. This is a square of side 3, 5, 8, and 13. And so, of course, 21. So if you add 13 plus 3 plus 5, that's 21. You see how it's magical. So, and this is how we draw a spiral. This is magic. Look at this, guys. So take the square number 1 and you draw an arc. You know how to draw an arc like that? That's easy. It's just a simple arc. And then in the second square 1, you draw another arc. And guess what you're going to do in number 2? You're going to draw another arc, right? And 3, the same, an arc from corner to corner. From 5, you're going to do a corner from here to here. And then at 8, you're going to do from here to here. And then from here to here. Look at that. What have we done? We've done a spiral just by drawing squares. So if someone asks you, can you draw a spiral just using squares? And the answer is yes, of course. So this is what we're going to do now. I want you to get your graph paper out. I'm going to shift to my and this is what we're going to do. We're going to draw the square. Somewhere around here. I've marked it on my sheet. Can you see that? Yeah, I think you can see it. And then I'm going to draw another square.
I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm going to draw another square on top of it. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, so I've drawn a square and another square on top of it. Now, what I'm going to do is make a square that's has the side of the two squares I just drew. So it's going to be a double square. So I'm going to here. You see that? How I did that square to the right of it? And guess what I have to do now? I'm going to go downwards and draw a square that's made of the 3 boxes there. So I think that side, we are going to go down. onwards. So if you want, this is one, 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 two, and three. Right? This is the Fibonacci series. So the next one is going to be which number? Someone tell me, what's the next number?
Oh, 55.
5, just 5. So we're going to go to number 5, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so you see the 5 now, and now we're going to go upwards with 3 plus 5, which is 8. And the way I know it's 8, there are two ways. I can look at the 3 and 5, or I can actually count the numbers. So I have 5 plus 1 plus 2, so that's going to be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to go square like that. Okay, you're with me? And now, of course, we're going to go to 13. Okay, so that was 13, and we're going to go, let me see, can you see that? Yeah, you can see that now. And now we're going to go 13 plus 8, which is what you had guessed before, which is 21. So we go down, we make a square, down to 21. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So this is 21. And the next one is going to be 21 plus 13 square, a square of 13 by 21, which is 34. So that's going to be this. Sorry, it's all wiggly. I have the camera in front of my head. Okay, so this is. Okay, you guys are with me? Now, what we're going to do, we're going to get a big fat marker. Do you have a big fat marker? A different color, hopefully red or something. Of course, I'm going to use orange because we're DIDI. And what you're going to do is remember to draw an arc. Start with the first one and draw an arc. Like this. You see that? Can you see that? And then you draw another arc. And then you continue doing that, connecting the last one with the next corner. Okay? And then you continue. And you continue. You see that? How's that working? There, what do I have? This is a spiral, and it's a perfect spiral. This is how nature would have it. I hope you enjoyed the exercise. If you have questions, of course, you can ask me later. I want us to move on because there's so much more we're going to do. It's going to be more exercises. So if you look at nature, you guys, you will see that the spiral is there. Look at the way the leaves grow. They are growing in a Fibonacci spiral. You see that? Look at that. It's there. You see that spiral? It's in there. Look at the hurricane. It's a complete spiral, which follows the Fibonacci. It's just completely magical. The cone, grows. If you look at the proportions of how big the different parts are growing, they're growing in a Fibonacci series. So there's some in this way, there are some in this way. Any way you look at it, it's done in a Fibonacci. And the distribution is related to an angle. We'll see a short video now about this. So it just consolidates the thinking. Look at that, different plants. They follow. So the proportions of the size of the leaf is the same as the Fibonacci. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, etc. So let's watch the video for a few minutes. It's just maybe 3 minutes, done by Cristobal Villa. So that's the Fibonacci series. I hope you learned something new, you had fun, and if you knew about it, you saw a different dimension, because every time I look at this, I see something new, which is amazing because it's actually math and design and art and nature all coming together. Now we're going to do another exercise using visual thinking versus mathematical thinking. And probably knowing the way we've been taught, the focus in school has been on combinations. But I want to show you that there are ways of thinking visually that makes it much easier. So if you know a DIDI, and those of you are asked to learn more about DIDI, this is the only time I'm going to talk about it is that we offer product design, multimedia design, fashion design, and strategic design management. These are our disciplines. And after the first year, the students are asked to combine two of them. So they can become product and multimedia designers, multimedia and fashion designers, fashion and strategy designers, or product and strategy, etc. But if you look at it, there are more possibilities than these just four, and we needed to figure out how many possibilities are there. So we started connecting them. So there's one, here's another one, here's another combination, a third combination, fourth and a fifth one, and a sixth one. And that's it. These are the 6 ways that you can combine them. This is what they look like. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this excludes like strategy and product is the same thing as product and strategy. So we didn't need to have what are called permutations. We're only looking at combinations. Now, this is how I did it as a designer, but our operations manager who studied math did it in this way. She basically said, wait, why do you do it that way? Here's the formula. PNR equals n factorial divided by n minus r factorial times r factorial. I'm not going to remember that. So I have to look it up every time. But it works. So n is the number of elements. So we have, sorry, this should be 4. I think this slide is out of order. Sorry, you guys. This should be here. Sorry. Okay. Let me just fix it. So I fixed it. So this is how she did it. N is the number of disciplines that we have. And 2 is the number of disciplines we want together. So the combination, how many in the combination. So if you do the formula, you get the same number 6. So, okay, that's cool. So now what we want to ask you is that DIDI decided to actually have 5 disciplines now. Let's say, suppose that we want to have 5 disciplines like this. So the question for you smart people out there is to figure out, well, if we have 5 disciplines, how many cross concentrations can we have? And this is an actual question that we're asking ourselves. So here's the next question for you on Menti. So we have 5 disciplines, and we want to have 10 different combinations. So the 5th one is the yellow. So how many cross concentrations are possible? How many pairs are we going to get? So let's see how you're going to solve it. So you have the formula, and you have, I'm going to show you the formula again. So you can, here's the formula. Oops. Here's the formula. So you can see it. PNR equals n factorial, or you can do it in this way, visually. So that's our new one. So let's see. I gave you enough time to do the math or to do it. Let's see how you're going to do it. So there's visual thinking and mathematical thinking. How many disciplines, how many pairs are possible from 5 disciplines? Let's say we want to expand. All right, let's see. This was a tough one, but let's see what you guys did. All right, so 23 is, 10 is the right answer, which 23 of you got. 16 tried 12, and 7 tried 8. And we're going to see the answer in a minute. Let's see the leaderboard, how we're doing. Okay, let's see where Ali and Anwar went. All right, Anwar was the fastest and he edged over Alia. Great job. Saleh, Fahad, Moody, I think that's a new name for me. Welcome, Moody, to the top 10, I think. Rashid, Sikha, Maribel, Abdullah, and M. Well done, all of you. Well done, all of you, for even trying. It's not an easy one to understand. So let's do it ourselves. So how many possible pairs are now? So here we go. So here you can see we have actually 10 possible solutions. If you did it visually, this is what it would look like. And if you do it mathematically, this is what it would look like. So you get the same answer. The thing is, it'll be 120 divided by 12, which I don't want you to forget the factorial here, which many probably missed that one. So, so 3 factorial, 6 anyway. So that requires a lot of solving by hand. This is just visually. I hope that most of you solved it visually. And I just showed you the difference between mathematical and visual thinking, which shows that we can get the same results. For me, it's easier to think visually as a designer, and I think many of you would feel the same thing. So how did you solve it? So we're going to go back to Menti and see how you did it. Let's see. So let's see how many solved it visually, how many solved it mathematically, how many solved it in other ways, how many didn't solve it, how many found a different way to do it, how many had no idea what was going on. So that's good. We have 40 responses. That's amazing. And as I expected, most of you will do it visually. And this is how we think and how we work. We work always together. The focus, though, is on visual thinking. This is what we're learning today in this exercise, that we can draw to express ourselves, complex ideas. Well done, you guys. Awesomeness. So let's go back to my slides. Let's look at colors. This is a different exercise. This comes from Joseph Albers, who was a professor at the Bauhaus, if you've heard of the Bauhaus. We're going to go to Menti again. I'll guide you there. And I'm going to ask you, get ready to answer. So the X's are the same, are the X's the same color? Yes, of course. No way. I have no idea. Are they the same color or not? Let's see what you guys think. So this is color theory. This is from Joseph Albers, who again was a professor at the Bauhaus 100 years ago, and he developed these things in the 40s and 50s to discover that colors are not always clear. Let's see. So yes, of course, 31 said, 11 said no way, I don't know. And I'm actually surprised that people said, yes, of course, they're the same color, because it wasn't obvious to me. And those of you who still doubt that, because to my eyes, they look very different, but let's look at how they come together. Look at that. It's the same color. And I take out the background color, and you see that they're exactly the same color. There's no gradation in my colors. It's just that depends on the background, colors change their hue or their tonality or their saturation, because we always see things in context. Let's try another one. So let's look at this one. And the question is, are the two squares the same color, or is the one on the left brighter from the one on the right? Let's go back to Menti. Oh wait, we have to see the leaderboard. Sorry, I keep forgetting that. Let's see the leaderboard. How are you doing? Okay, Anwar now is edged up, Ali has gone down. That's okay, Rashid was the fastest. Fahad, M, Hadi, hello Hadi, Angad, hello Angad, Noor, Badr, hello Hamda, Al Betheri, and John. Welcome all of you. So let's see the next one. Which one is the brighter one? So which one is the brighter the one? Is the one on the left or the one on the right? Duh, the one on the left. No, it must be the right. They are the identical color. Again, this is from Joseph Albers. Let's see what you guys got. Let's see. Oh, 25 said they're the identical color. It must be the right, the one on the left, because obviously to my eyes, it looks like the one on the left. Let's find out how you did on the exercise. And I'll show you how that they are actually the identical color. Yeah. So eyes can do magic, tricks can do magic. Fat made it to the top. M is fastest. Hadi, Angat, Hamda, John, Anwar, Rashid, Alia has gone down, Johnny, and many more. But this Menti just shows all of them. Let's take a look here and see how they're exactly the same color. Look at that. It is the same color. I'm not cheating. And it looks like there's gradation. Hey, you're saying, wait a minute, you're putting gradation, but I'm not. It's the same color. It's exactly the same color. It's just, again, our eyes play tricks. So when people start saying, oh, colors reflect emotion, I don't subscribe to that. Colors are so much more complex. Our brain-eye connection is much more complex. Let's look at this one. This is a more complex question. We want to look at the central rectangle in each of the strips, and we have to find which ones are the same color. So let's go back to Menti, and see what we have. Let's see. So let's see which ones. This will take more time. I give it more time. So you have to find which pairs. B and D, not A nor C. A, B, D, but not C. A, B, C, D, A, C, or B and D. So a few seconds left, time's up. This was a hard one. And ABCD 24 said, yes, that's correct. You got the trick. This is the trick of Joseph Albers. He's playing with the same color. So I guess some of you guessed because of the pattern that we saw, not because what your eyes told you. That's my guess. Let's see how we did with the leaderboard. And I think Fahd is well done. Fahd is the winner of the game, pushed and edged everyone away. Hadi, Anga, John, Brent, Am, Janvi, Aya, Hamda, and Samir. Well done, and all the others who did well. So well done. And so let's see this trick of the eyes. Look at that. It's the same color. Isn't that incredible? Just take a second. Look at that. How could they be the same color? It's just impossible. Ask a 2-year-old and they tell you they're not the same color. It's because we always see things in context. We never see things in isolation. The minute you isolation, our perception changes. And we're going, yeah, of course, it's the same color. What are you talking about? So now we're going to jump to another fun exercise. And I want us to look at this cartoon. I love this cartoon. This is from even before when I was born. This is by Charles E. Martin, who did this for the New Yorker magazine, which publishes a lot of cartoons all the time, and I subscribe to it because it's a great magazine with literature and you know other things, but they have great cartoons. So here's a girl, and she seems to be in kindergarten class. There's music running here. This is a vinyl player. The teacher standing there, and she's dancing, trying to be a flower. And look at what her friends are saying. They're all saying different things. And I think this is very important in design school, that you might have an intention of doing something and people read it in a different way. And that's perfectly all right. This is my interpretation of the cartoon. I would love to hear from you what you guys think of the cartoon itself. So what do you think is the message of this cartoon in your mind? I told you mine. I'd love to hear your opinion about this. So just type in any word that comes to mind. So if I hide the image, we will see, yeah, all the answers that you have. Hourglass, ballerina, different perspectives, yes, super, everyone thinks differently. Everyone thinks differently, yes, thinking out of the box. People from different backgrounds have different outlooks. Everybody sees things differently. Uniqueness of the human mind. This is fantastic. And it looks like it treated you perfectly fine. Ballerina, perception is individual. Everyone's opinions are unique. Perception changes, yes. Everyone sees what they want to see, perfect. Everyone views things differently. You guys are amazing. I love the way you're thinking about this. So everyone has different interpretations, creativity, and uniqueness. Correct, different, fantastic answers. Difference in opinions, creativity, different views. Everyone has different ideas and thoughts. Yes, and I think implied in your replies, which I love, is basically what this one is saying here. Being unique is okay. Accepting others' opinions is okay. It actually enriches us. Everyone has a unique understanding. Valora, perspective, brilliant. Different eyes, fantastic. This is great. So I'm very happy to see your level of engagement. And so what's he doing? So now we're going to draw words. And I want you on a sheet of paper to draw happy and sad. How would you represent happy and sad? So that's the first one. Big and small, up and down. And here's slightly harder because they're more conceptual. Motivate and discourage. So what if you notice, I've put opposites because when we compare things visually, we can understand them. Because if we did just big alone, you don't know if it's big unless you have small next to it, right? Up and down. Again, how would you represent them? And how would you draw them? So this is fun. I'm going to give it a shot myself as so there is no right answer. I think that's the first thing. There is no right answer. Okay. So how would I do happy? Simply, I mean happy is everyone understands that and sad. Yeah. I mean, how, that's so simple. So here, I need something. So big and small. I think that's pretty clear. Up and down is pretty easy as well. You just go up and down. Right? How's that? That's quite easy. I think you can do the same thing. Anyone can read this and understand. Not like the little girl. It's just pretty clear what it is. Motivate and discourage. That's going to be harder. So maybe motivate, I would say, I don't know, that's a hard one. I didn't think about this before. But maybe discourage, I can do with a foot stepping down on something. And stepping on something. I guess not. So that's when design starts to come in. I'd love to see what your answers are. And for motivate, maybe I would draw some kind of thumbs up and some words of encouragement. And you can see it's not very clear. So design requires us to think a bit to come up with something. I would love to see what your ideas are, and there is no right answer. So when I gave you the hard words, even I struggled with them, even though I gave you the words, and I hadn't thought about it before. So I would love to see what you've done, so you can share it with me and Razan, and we can give you feedback on it afterwards. So this is what I mean, that it's not always easy to communicate visually. And I failed at that. And here's something I did when I was your age. This is in the 80s when I was still in early college. And you can see on the left, it says down, and on the right down. But look how fun this is. So if you flip it, it still works. Is that cool? I think it's cool, maybe. I don't know if you think it's cool. So up and down, it still works, right? And I noticed that the word up and the shortness of the abbreviation of down, they look exactly the same typographically. So I made this graph. So let's have more fun as we rotate. I hope you enjoyed that. That was something that I thought of. Our next exercise is going to be a fun one. It's called Squiggle Birds. It's by viswise.com. And basically, because I'm a bird, Asfour, we have to draw some birds. And so what we're going to do, we're going to squiggle, do squiggles like that. So on your sheet of paper, squiggle. So squiggle, make as many squiggles as you want. And the simpler, the better. It's up to you. So I'm going to draw with you as well. Let's do some. All right, so you can see my screen. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to do some squiggles. Just really quick. Do them really quick. Don't think a lot about them. Okay, so here I did mine. So how do we make them? How do we draw birds from these? You're going to think I'm weird, but this is what we're going to do. Just add an eye and a beak. I'm going to use my red marker to do that, just for fun. So you can see. You see that? That's a bird, right? So here's another one. That's doing something acrobatic. It's like a swan looking around. And if you want to do, if you don't want to do birds, you can of course do animals. So let's make this one a dog or a cat or a bunny. See how that works? So you can use your imagination, and from anything you can make that. Because I'm asked for, I'm going to do more. Here's another one. This one, right? And here's another one. Okay. I hope you found that fun. And this is what I mean to say, that you can, from anything, come up with anything. And what I mean by anything, if you actually bring your scissors on paper, right? You can do a bird. Can you do a bird with your scissors? So we start seeing the world in a different way. So we're going to make another Asfour from this pair of scissors. Can you imagine? Please share with us what you're going to do with it. And here's my bird. Those are the eyes. You like my bird? You see? So I hope you're having fun, but this is what I mean. We start seeing the world in a different way. So here's the bird. This is by viswise.com. Let's do stick figures, guys. Are you with me? Please upload your stuff to the Zoom chat so we can see it and we can have fun with that. So stick figure, we're almost done. We have just 3 more exercises. Stick figure, most people know how to draw a stick figure like this one, right? And look, I mean, if you want to be a designer, that doesn't look good for you if you draw a person like that. You can draw a person just using square or an oval is better, a rectangle and triangle. I call this guy Mr. Triangles. I just made them up for you. So start with an oval instead of a circle for the head. Do a rectangle for the body. I hope that you are following me. So I will just give you a minute and then do two triangles for the legs. Make the triangles as big as the rectangle if you want, as high as the rectangle, and then add two more rectangles. So that's so much easier. It takes about the same time. What it does, it gives the person volume. If you look at your body, you have volume. You're not a line, you're a volume. So this is a simple way to do it. So when people don't know how to draw, I so just draw a person like that. That's the easiest thing to do. Now, what you want to do sometimes is you become faster at it. You just merge the arms with the body, and you can make him look like me wearing my orange shirt. And you can see that in the bold head. There you go. So that's me. You can add shoes if you want, and you can add hands if you want. Then it's just simple ovals. There is nothing to it. It's so straightforward and simple. So I hope you're with me. So let's and then you can add the eyes. And this is a common mistake. When you ask people to add eyes to the face, they add them on top. And since many of you are creative, you probably already know that the eyes are actually in the middle of the head. And I want you to do this. On your face, put your index finger on your nose and your thumb under your chin. So like I'm doing in the video, you can see me. So hand on your nose, finger on your nose, and thumb on your chin. And keep your hand, your index finger and thumb same distance. And now move your thumb upwards, so it's actually on top of your on your nose, and you will see that it's same distance from your nose to your chin. From sorry, your nose. Sorry, what am I doing? Sorry, from your eye to your again. So index finger around your eye. Don't poke your eye to your chin, and do the same thing. And you realize that your eye to your forehead is the same distance as your eye to your chin. So it's a common mistake to put the eyes up in the face when they're actually in the middle. So there you go. Here's a smiley face. So now Mr. Triangle, Mr. Stick finds Mrs. Stick. And the way Mrs. Stick is done, sometimes they give her a triangular dress. Okay, but you can do it much easier. Just elongate the rectangle. Keep the legs the same. Just elongate the rectangle to create the Mrs. Triangles. And what you can do with the triangles, you can move the arms easily, and you can tilt the head easily. So now Mrs. Triangle is telling him, look up, there's Superman, and he's going to be, we're going to give her eyes so she can see Superman. So we draw an axis in the middle, and we add her eyes. She has purple eyes, happy face, and then this becomes me wearing my glasses and a happy face, looking up, listening to my wife, which makes her happy, and then you can add hair in any way you want. So it's very easy to draw people in this way, especially if they are small and iconic. So if you want to do a storyboard or something, just use Mr. and Mrs. Triangles. It takes seconds to draw them, and it makes you look like you know what you're doing. So I would recommend that as well. Going to the face, we're going to actually learn a lesson. This is from Graham Shaw. He has a fantastic TEDx talk where he basically says, well, it's very easy to draw any face if you know how to draw the basics. So let's work together on how to draw a face. I'm going to switch. So my drawing board, I'm going to switch my drawing board, and we're going to do it step by step. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is to draw a shape like this. Can you do that? I hope everyone can do that, right? There's nothing hard about that. And we're going to draw two circles above it. And color them. That's very easy to do, right? And then we're going to go slightly to the right and draw a C shape. I hope everyone can do that. Move slightly to the right, farther than you think you want to. So all very simple. Now, what we want to do is draw an arc from above the eye and do something like that. That's easy to do. And then from the ear, we want to draw another line like that. Okay? And then we're going to draw a mouth like this. Any way you want, but that's another way. And then from the left of the line, underneath halfway of the nose or further, oh, look at that. We have a person, and you can make the color like that, right? That's so easy. And then you can have fun with your hair any way you want. Let's do another one just for the sake of fun. I'm going to draw myself, and I want you to do a self-portrait of yourself. It's just so easy to do it, and it's so much fun. I actually, in my notebook, I did all the DIDI faculty of the first year. So when you come and join DIDI in the first year, you can see in my notebook here, because I'm always sketching, you can see me and the staff, the faculty from the first year. And you can draw anything like that. So let's do, I'm going to do self-portrait. I'm going to do self-portrait of me. So I'm going to start with the nose. I have a normal nose, slightly bigger, so it's a cartoon. I have round glasses. I have a bald head, right? I like to smile. Go to the left of the mouth. Remember that. I have chubby cheeks. And then come down, wearing a t-shirt. Does that look like me? That took like 5 seconds, and you can do it yourself. So if you want to learn more about this technique of drawing faces, oh, we forgot this. Yeah. So if you want to do faces, you can learn more. If you go to Graham Shaw, you can see his name on the lower left. I always give the sources of my of the work that we do. I hope that was interesting. You can do a lot more. You can practice, and you can do your whole family, all your friends. That's what I do when I'm bored in meetings. I draw people that I see around me in this way, so you can get the feelings. I hope that was fun. And the last exercise is that we're going to go walk through a piece of paper. So this thing, I want you to work on your own, or if you're with, you can talk to each other, figure it out. So here's what you have to do. The key thing is that you have to cut a hole large enough for you to walk through an A4 sheet of paper. And you say that's impossible. But remember what a hole is. A hole is a cavity with all the surroundings intact. So you have to cut a hole inside the paper for you to be able to walk through it. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to figure it out. Just 5 minutes to figure it out. And now I don't want you to peek yet on the technique. And the way you're going to share it with me is basically to upload pictures of yourself doing it to the chat. And Razan will help us sort through them. And I'm going to show you the answer. Of course, there's probably more than one answer, but the answer that I know, the one I have tried, I'm going to show you how to do it. But first, I want you to give it a shot. And if you're thinking, oh, it's impossible, yeah. What I'm going to show you is that with design thinking and visual thinking, nothing is impossible. It's like Adidas, impossible is nothing. So have fun, think about it, give it a shot, And if you want to share anything, share it through the chat. And Razan and I will be happy to look at them. So I'll give you 5 minutes. It's 5:30 now. In 5 minutes, we will try to see any answers. And if you have a solution, just share it with us. Maybe you turn on your video and you share it with us. I let Razan figure out how to do it. It's the first time I do it online, so I'm not sure how to do it otherwise. Good luck. So no peeking. Remember, you have to cut a hole through a sheet of paper. Alvaro, I see you showing me something. Can you walk through that? You can't walk through that. It's an A4. So that's a hole, but you can't walk through it. So keep trying. All right, do you have videos to share or something to share with me, your ideas? Okay, we are now 3 minutes past. We have 2 more minutes. If you want to share a video like Alvaro did, I would appreciate that.
Happy to share mine. I'll just put it in the chat for you as an image.
Oh, you have it in the chat. Let me see then. You can see the chat here. This one, I guess. Let's see. Oh, but you you drew yourself. Okay, let me share what I got. This is what I got. So you shrunk yourself and you technically go walk through it. Okay, that's clever, but that's not the answer. I want your real self. Can we like cut it and turn it into a loop and walk through it? Yeah, show me how you do that, Hamda. Why not? Can we just draw a door for a stick figure walk through? Yeah, you can, but that's not you. So it's you that has to walk through it. I love the creativity. Let's see. You have to be physically able to walk through it. That's right. Razan is telling. Okay. So use one sheet of paper. Yeah. No, you cannot stick them all together. Yeah, it's definitely possible. What if we turn it into a chain? Yeah, why not? Try that. See what happens. Can I write you on my hand and put it through? No, it's okay. No. I mean you as a person, not you as a word. Okay, clever, aren't we? Wait, that's smart. Okay, you guys are too funny. But you can visually do it. Okay, now you're turning my words on me. Perfect. I don't mind that. Oh, what's this one? I missed that one from Dua. Let's see what Dua sent us. Is it? Oh, the scissors. Oh, I love that. That's awesome. Wait. Here you can see what Dua did. That's clever that she's actually opening her mouth. You guys are brilliant. I'm loving this. Let me see if there are others now. So I'm giving you more time to think this through. You got me going to find what you guys were saying. I hadn't seen the chat before. All right. You guys have been active here, and I missed all of that fun. All right. Yeah, the brain does play tricks. Oh, I missed all the chats. I wish I saw them before. You guys are awesome. Okay, so I can quickly see if there are any more images. If you want to share, this is a good place to share. It's possible to create a loop. You can make it into chains, creating a loop of the paper. You've created a box, cut it in half, put each half on its side and walk in the space between. No, it's not a hole then, if you don't want. And this is a picture from Razan. Let's see, it's probably from, let's see what we got. What did we get? Huh, what's this? Let's see. Down, oh, up, down, that's good. Good, you have them together. Motivate, cutting a hole. You can't walk through that, come on. It's not a, it's technically not a hole because it's, yeah, you guys, I don't know. Yeah, you make me think. So, yeah, okay. You guys ready for peeking? You wanna peek? You can walk through it, Samir. Make curtains of paper and walk through. Krishna. Show me, Anwar. You figured it. Show me. Show me. So maybe we can peek now. I'm just giving you a teaser here. DIDI. Okay. Upload it. Okay, we'll upload. We'll see Anwar's. And then, come on, Anwar. Show us what you got. Fold the paper in a circle and put our arm through it. Samir, all of you has to go through it. Did you upload it, Anwar? Not yet. Okay. Okay, let's see what Anwar did, and then I'm going to show you the way to do it. At least one way to do it. Remember, there's always multiple ways of looking at things. I can't believe I've suffered in this question more than do a paper frame. Okay, Dua, do a paper frame, but you have to walk through it. So yeah, why not make a frame? Because the frame is a whole, because the sides are connected and you can walk through it. So cut the paper such only a frame is present and pass through it. Yeah, but how can you fit in an A4? Come on. The frame, if it breaks, that's okay, but you can't destroy it to walk through it. So maybe you can fit, Krishna. All of you should go through it. That's right, Hamda. I tried the frame. Yeah, frame is in the right direction. Oh, wait, Alvaro is showing us something. Oh my God, Alvaro. Yes, Alvaro has something. How can we see him, Razan? He's got it. He's got the answer. He's got the answer. Anwar, where is, oh, let's see. I'm downloading now, Anwar.
Hello.
Hi.
Can I show on the floor?
Who, Alvaro? No, who's this? Yeah.
Yes. Can I show it on the floor? The paper.
Yeah, of course. Where is Anwar's? What's this one? What's this one? Noor, I cannot open the file that's up here. I don't know what it is. Okay, who's showing us they're doing? Alvaro, you're onto something. It's hard to see against the stone background. Yeah, can you walk through that? Is it all one piece or not? And Noor, you're showing us something also. Yeah, Noor is onto something. Yes, Noor, you're going to walk through it. Awesome. Yeah, there you go. Noor did it. She walked through it. Well done, Noor. Well done. All right, and Alvaro is doing the same thing. I can't see other videos. Well done, Noor. That was really good. Really well done.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. See, nothing's impossible. And Alvaro is on the right track, but I cannot see if your piece is one piece or it's cut in, so it's one string. It cannot be a string. It has to be a hole that you walk through. Yeah, Alvaro walked through it. That's good. Oh, I have 4 new messages. Let's see what we got. What did Noor do? I'm going to show you what Noor did. All right. And Anwar, let's see what you got. Let's see what you got, Anwar. Where's Anwar's? It's opening. 1 second. Then I'm going to show you after Anwar. Oh, it's not opening. I don't know why. Anwar, I can't open your file. It's giving me an error. Yeah, I don't know why it's not opening. Let me try and make it a PNG. Let me try that. Let's see if that's going to work. Ugh. No, it's not. I don't know why. So, all right, what did Noor do? Okay, it was too dark for me to see. Okay, so let me show you now. Let's all focus on the main screen and we're going to peek. So what I want you to do is take your sheet of paper and fold it. I'm going to do it with you here on this camera. Hopefully you can see as well. So take the sheet, fold it in half. Okay, thanks Razan for spotlighting the video. All right, so here you fold it in half. You can also look at the presentation. So once you fold it in half, what I want you to do is to cut, be careful though, take an edge and cut from it up to about 2 centimeters from the edge. So it's important not to go all the way. You see, I didn't go all the way. You can see in my slides, I don't go all the way. And then equal distance, cut the same. So here you can see me cutting the same, roughly equal distance, cut the same, and maybe we'll do one more cut here. That's fine. You see how I didn't go all the way to the end? I left around 2 centimeters to do it. And I started from the folding side. I forgot to tell you that, but I started cutting from the folding side and left the open side. So you'll have something like this if you open it. Okay, so fold it back again. So now what you want to do now is to flip it. And let's go to the next slide. So this is what you would have now. And the next slide, you want to now flip it and cut in between what you cut, but don't go to the fold. Stop before the fold and start from after the first cut. So don't start here, start here. So you're going to cut and then stop. And then do the same in between. So it gets a bit floppy when you do that, but that's okay. Okay, you guys are with me, and don't go to the end. Don't go to the end, just leave the end with a fold, okay? So you should have something like this. Can you see? Okay, I'm assuming you are all able to see. So now, this is the tricky part. It's not hard. So this is what you would have now. This is what it would look like. And then come to the end here on this side and don't touch it, just leave it. But you want to start cutting the fold from the second fold. So snip that out, and stop before the last one. Okay, you see that? So keep the edges untouched. And now we're done cutting. So the scissors are out of my hand. And this is what you want to have, like Alvaro did. Just unfold it. You see that? And it should be a nice big door that you can walk through. Now I made mine thick. If you make it thinner, of course, it's going to be longer. So I can actually literally pass through this one with no problem. Even my size, I'm okay going through it. So I just went through a piece of paper, as you can see. So nothing is impossible, guys. See how that was done? Just takes a little time, and we got 2 people who figured it out. And I bet if you spent more time to do it, like Noor and Alvaro, you can actually come up with a solution. This is one solution. I'm sure there are others. And this is how you make it into visual thinking. Impossible is nothing. Where this is from Adidas, but this is what we believe. Everything's possible if you just apply your thinking and you realize that people around you support your ideas. You are creative and you are going to create new things as long as you believe in yourself and know that people around you believe in you, because at DIDI, this is the culture that we want to create. So this is what we did today. Paper is special. Golden ratio, Fibonacci, combinations, colors, words, squiggle birds, stick figure, face, and walk through a paper. I would like to just go back to Menti and get your final thoughts on what we learned today, so we can bring anything. If you want to ask questions, this is a good place to ask and answer as many as we can with a time. I know we went over time, but I think I'm having fun. I hope you're having fun as well. And then just a sense from you on how you learned anything. So here are some questions if you have for me. What is the DIDI doing during quarantine? Okay, that's a good question. I have an answer which is visual for you. Let me open that for you just to show you, because I talked to MIT yesterday exactly about that. We have something called What Did DIDI Do? Hold on while I find it. Okay, here it is. Here it is. I'm going to present it. Sorry, it's opening. It's okay. This was a talk I gave to MIT yesterday, literally. And here you can see, hopefully, I want this to, you can see it on the shared screen, right? So what did DIDI do? This is a question as if later we ask ourselves, what did we do during the quarantine? And this is the way we answered it. Remember, we're visual thinkers, so everything we do, we create a chart or something to explain it. So what we did, first thing, we asked the students what they want to do. We didn't tell them what needs to be done. We asked them, guys, what do you want to do? And what was interesting for me was a beautiful learning that half the students and half the faculty said, we don't want to be distracted by this quarantine. We want to continue what we're doing. We need stability. This was surprising for me because I wasn't thinking that way. But that's why it's important to hear your audience, and our audience are the students, which is section A on the left. And section B on the right basically said, it doesn't make sense to continue. We need to contribute. We need to do something. And the third one was, well, I'm going to seek community to either learn more about it, to protect myself, or help others, which are things that not necessarily related to the academic program. So the people on the left were basically saying, I want to complete my project. I want to continue working because it's going to help me forget about the stress that we're going through. I want to focus on my digital skills, and I want to actually learn more about the coronavirus and collect data about it before next year we come up with solutions, because right now we don't know anything about it. No matter what people say, we don't know anything. This is what the students were thinking, some of the students. On the right are the people who joined an Agile factory. So we changed some of the courses so people could actually stop what they were doing and join courses that are totally solving problems. So we worked with a medical university. We joined a hackathon and became their coursework. So the hackathon and the work with the University of Medicine became their studio work and their work. So they left their classes and joined a new class that we opened up. We made sure that the Fab Lab is working, and so students can send their files remotely, and make sure that anything that you want to print or cut, you can still do it. Or you can take any of your current projects you're working in studio or workshop or lecture and make them about solving problems for the COVID. So these are the two types of approaches. And at the bottom, you can see that the faculty remained committed, that we want to make sure the learning outcomes are met. We don't compromise the DIDI standard, and we empathize with the students. And one thing we did, we allowed students to choose to change their grade from the grade that they got to pass or fail, and it does not reflect on their GPA. So this way, students are relieved from the stress of the coronavirus. I hope I answered your question about that. Of course, I can spend more time talking about that. How did I make my presentation? I used PowerPoint. That's how I made my presentation. I hope that was helpful and cool. And you can go to mentimeter.com to create the Menti pages. So you can see on the upper right the logo of Mentimeter. So I subscribe to it because I find it's a very nice way of engaging. And then I hung on the wall the taped my drawings, and I put my phone camera on a tripod to make it work. So it was the first time I do it, so I'm not sure that worked very well. How are you? I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing? Alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking. I really enjoyed this lesson. I finally learned how to draw. Yes, this is it. It's not that hard. And you can do these little tricks and you can do wonders. And people say, wow, how do you do that? And I kept the sources so you can see them, so you can chase them and follow them as well. And I hope you enjoy the squiggle birds as much as I did. Could DIDI open more workshops? Unfortunately, I missed some really interesting ones. This is we want to do as much as possible, and I would leave Razan to do that, but it's great that we hear this feedback so we can do some more. We will do some more. There's an open house coming up soon, and there'll be other workshops coming out, I think, in the summer. We usually do a lot. Did you have fun teaching us? Yes, I love teaching you. I wish I could see you and greet you all in person, but I'm happy to hear that you were here. What's more important, did you have fun being part of this workshop? This is the kinds of things we do at DIDI. How to attend the next workshop lessons? I would say ask Razan later. She will be able to help you with that. I think you just have to be on our mailing list, right? So I don't know who's asking. Do you do calligraphy? No, I wish, but I don't know if you know Wissam Shaukat. He's a very good friend of mine. His daughter is joining us at DIDI. So unless it's you who's asking, we can ask his daughter to teach us all how to do calligraphy. We have one lecture on typography and calligraphy, but no, unfortunately, I wish I could do calligraphy. It's a beautiful art, and I wish to learn it. How many more workshops are there? I will let Razan answer that later.
We have two more
sure,
coming up. We have one open house and one biomimicry with Carlos.
Awesome. And then we'll have some over the summer, I presume, Razan, as well, right?
Yes, we'll have some over the summer after everyone's done with their exams.
Amazing. Okay, great. So there'll be at least two more. Let's put it that way. How to draw anime. Oh, wow. I don't know how to do that. I'm sure there are classes online. I don't know how to answer you. I'm afraid because I use drawing for thinking, and of course I draw in my notebooks all the time, and but I'm not really an expert, although it might appear that I'm an expert, and many people say that I am, but I don't consider myself to the level where I can draw anime. But if you put your mind to it, and that's what you love, you can learn it. And I'm sure start online, and maybe you'll find someone in Dubai who can teach it, assuming you're in Dubai. I'm not sure. Are there going to be more workshops? Yes, at least two. What made you want to pursue drawing? Well, because I feel I can express myself better in drawing. I think clearly when I'm drawing. Even when I was taking biology in high school, I would spend my time drawing the diagrams to understand what we were learning. And I realized that I enjoyed so much, and that's how I did. Then I studied architecture. I studied architecture at MIT, and you draw a lot. And then I did my master's in architecture at Harvard, and we draw a lot. And you realize that drawing is a good way of expressing yourself. And I just love it. When I'm holding my pen, I don't write. I just do doodles like the bird squiggles, things like that. And hopefully that encourages you to continue pursuing drawing as well. It was my first round, the first time to draw faces, and it worked. I'm so happy. Go to Graham Shaw's websites and his lectures, and you will be a master very soon. It's really easy, and it's just a matter of just knowing where things go. But yeah, I'd love to see what you did today. So it'll be awesome if you will share. I didn't understand what the purpose of all this is. Well, the purpose is to basically many things, but as I mentioned in the beginning, is I want you to realize that you are all creative, and creativity and drawing don't have anything to do with each other at that basic level. At the same time, drawing is not very hard to do. You can express yourself visually and express complex ideas visually if you apply your mind to it. So I want us to realize that design is a way of thinking. So that's the purpose. Design is a way of thinking. And if you think as a design thinker, you realize that any complex problem, like walking through a sheet of paper, become possible. So design makes the impossible possible. I hope that answered your question. Is there any scholarship opportunities? Yes, of course, there are. I don't know, Razan, if you want to add to that.
Yes, we do have scholarships. They're available to all accepted students if you fit our requirements. If you want to discuss more, drop me an email and we can chat.
Awesome. And when is the next class? The workshop, sorry, the open house is on Saturday, and next week is the Carlos's biomimicry course. Should be fantastic because you look at nature. Biomimicry is looking at nature and learning from nature in order to design. Like Velcro is an example, the Fibonacci is another circle. Not a question really, but you have such a nice personality. Thank you for all. Thank you so much. This is so much fun. And I'm not unique to DIDI. Thank you for the compliment. We are all like this. This is the culture that we want to breed. And in my honest opinion, I truly believe that inside every student is an A, and our job is to bring that A out. And if we don't make you an A student, then we have failed. It's not you, it's us. So our way of teaching is to look for what makes you passionate, what is your strength, and we bring it out. to the front. So, and this is sincerely what we try to do all the time. Thank you. It was my first time to draw and it worked. That's amazing. I'm happy to hear that twice. I have some art I wanted to show you. Please send me an email, maybe through Razan, and then tell them that I would love to see your art, because many of you said that you are already super creative. I can't wait to see what you can do, honestly. So send them to Razan and she will share them with me. Make sure you add your name to it. Best Professor, thank you so much. You ain't seen nothing yet, so just join the IDI and it's going to be just as fun and lots of things to learn every day. Thank you so much. I created business out of my art. I would love to hear about that, because we have the strategic design program, which actually helps you further with your business skills if you need them. That's brilliant. Could you have workshop for school teachers so they could be as interesting as you? We'd be happy to work with schools. We're always working with school teachers, and some of my best teachers are school teachers that I had growing up as a child. So yes, we want to work with schools all the time. No question. I really had fun, learned interesting things. I'm so glad you learned interesting things. I send you hearts as well. Thank you so much for all the creative ideas and everything. I really enjoy it. Fantastic. Where are you from? I'm originally from Beirut, Lebanon. That's where I grew up until I was 19. And then I went to Boston, US, studied, at MIT and Harvard, as I mentioned. And then I came back to Lebanon. I came back to Dubai. My dad worked in Dubai as a pediatrician for 30 years. So I would come every year since 1985 to Dubai. So I feel Dubai is my home, like Boston and Beirut. So I would say I'm from Boston and Beirut, and I feel at home in Dubai. I hope that answers your question. Do you like K-pop? Is that like Korean music? I don't know. No, I guess not. How to participate by a mimicry workshop? Razan, you want to answer that?
I've shared the link in the chat and I'll share it again. There's a form that you fill out and we'll send you the details for that workshop.
Excellent. And why did you pursue? I did pursue architecture. I still practice as an architect. In fact, I won a major award 2 years ago in Dubai for a mosque I designed in Lebanon. So I haven't stopped. I'm working on a project in Abu Dhabi as we speak. So I still pursue architecture. Yeah. So I didn't give up. So I can teach, I can build the university with the team, with Razan and the team. And at the same time, I can still build things. But of course, I'm building less now because DIDI is taking a lot of my time because we're starting from scratch. There's a lot to do. So I've turned down several projects just so I can focus on DIDI, but I have just one project in Abu Dhabi at the moment. I can't tell you about that yet. Do you have a specific genre of your drawings? I would say that my style is cartoonish, and maybe that's why the focus was on cartoon style drawings. So I would say that's my genre. Ramadan Kareem to you as well. Thank you very much. Sir, the best lesson I've ever been to, and have a nice, amazing day. You too, thank you. You're an amazing group of people. You remained engaged throughout, so that's fantastic for me. That's my reward, that you guys remained and asked me good questions. So thank you very much. You really boosted my self-esteem. Good, that's the intention. So someone who asks, what's the purpose of all this? Well, one of them is to boost your self-esteem, realize that you are super creative already. You don't need me to tell you that. It just, you know it, and you just need that little nudge forward to do it. Did you ever draw any real people? Yes, of course, I've drawn real people. In school, I had to. In university, I had to. And yeah, but I don't do it, every day. It's just when I feel like it now. I want to pursue architecture too. Any tips on how I should start if I'm in high school? That's a big question. The first question is, why do you want to do architecture? Why not design in general? Because the world is changing. That's the first question. The second one is to look at the design schools that you like. And you have to ask yourself, do I want to stay where I am? I'm assuming you're the Emirates. I'm not sure if you're in the Emirates. I would recommend American University of Sharjah. They have fantastic architectural program. Or if you go to the region, I would go to the Lebanese American University. They have a good program in architecture as well. If you want to go to the US or Europe, there are so many options. It really depends on what you are. Please send me an email and we can have a conversation about that. I'll be happy to answer you in detail about that. It's a big decision to make, and I support you if you need that. You're an excellent, first-rate, magnificent, marvelous, outstanding. Well, thank you so much. You're so kind to say that. Well, I think the same thing about all of you based on your feedback and more importantly on the way you are interacting with the course. Brilliant. As an undergrad student, how can I participate in things that would help me in college? I would recommend putting together a portfolio. Collect all your drawings, all your artwork, all your prototypes if you want to go to design school. And that's how I would start doing. Just make sure that you collect everything that you do, and then we can have a one-on-one session to help guide you on which ones to show and which ones not to show. You are so sweet and helpful. Thank you. You are very kind to say that. Do you use reference photos when you draw? Of course I do. Yes, of course I do. Whenever I'm drawing, I look at other things. There's nothing wrong with that. Yes, so I look at reference photos. I research a lot before I want to draw something. So, and then I take a good look at things, get a sense, get a feel for it, and then I start drawing. But whatever I do, I want it to be original. At the same time, it's always influenced by something, for sure. Yes, you need to do a lot of research before you do anything major. What's your email to contact you for suggestions on architecture? Send it to info@didi.ae and say, this is a message for the dean. Okay, and then I will take it from there. So info@didi.ae. Right? And then tell me what it is and I'd be happy to answer it. And, oh, no questions from the audience. So we're done. So now it's my turn to ask you questions. Thank you very much, people, for staying long, just staying over time. We're here 2 hours now. That's incredible. If you are still here and listening, please just let me know how it went just by telling me words like we started. Just tell me what your thoughts were. And you can say, you know, thank you, you're so kind. Maybe you can say also things that can help us improve it as well. So it was fun and engaging, creative, good. You guys are so sweet, thank you. Life-changing, eye-opening, wonderful, interactive, new and fun, wonderful, excellent. Boosted my self-esteem, that's important, yeah. Informative, good. Moral, very practical, good. Lovely, incredible, eye-opening. Well, thank you, you guys, you're so nice. And do send us email, send us notes. Virtuous, nice word. Learned more, good. Good, innovative, great experience, very practical, wonderful. Innovative, yes. Fun, that's good. It was fun and engaging. I'm happy to hear that. New, very practical. A lot of new things. Yeah, good. Good. Awesomeness. All right, you guys. I thank you so much for staying late. I thank Razan for organizing it. And I hope to see you soon. So lovely having you. I wish I can meet you in person, hopefully soon. And please join us at other events. All right. Good. Lovely, lovely. See you. Take care. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.